BBC, the BBC Storyville. He's got a dual responsibility as commissioning executive and executive producer. We'll let him also talk to us about the BBC and its policy. Michela Giorelli from Discovery. Michela is Director of Production and Development at Discovery Latin America. And I'll ask you to be kind to her because she came down with a cold, and I hope she will leave with a lot of sun and not the cold with her. And we've got one more person who is coming as a broadcaster, and he will arrive during the course of the day. And his name is Jeffrey Daniels, and he's from National Geographic. And he will join us whenever he gets here. So the first question that I wanted to deal with before we get in earnest into the training and all the other part is really to have a snapshot and an idea of what the world of documentary is at and what stage is it at in the world at this point in time.
About me, I'm Elisabeth Hultin, as you can see from the paper. I've been working as a commissioning editor in Parte since 14 years, and before that I was an independent producer, so I know what you're all up to, let's say. Arte is a called the European Cultural Channel. It will celebrate its 20th birthday next year. It's a French-German public broadcaster without any advertising. All programs are broadcasted in the same time, but in two language versions, French, of course, and German, of course. We have all kinds in the programming schedule: cinema, TV movies, documentaries, of course, even some news, and what Arte was well known for in the beginning of the channel, and still is, it's so-called theme evenings. What's a theme evening? You take a subject, you find a movie, you make a discussion panel, and one or two documentaries about the same subject. It could be any subject, and that's the theme evening. Let's go back to the documentaries. This is what we are concerned about here. The prime time slots in Arte are 52 or 90 minutes long. We broadcast documentaries all day also, but in the daytime it's more about lifestyle, travel and discovery films. The evening prime time slot is history, investigation, and what's something called the human adventure, l'aventure humaine in French. Discovery, ethnology, and archaeology. Am I too long? Not yet. An important place is also, of course, and I must not forget that, giving to performing arts and music. Theatre music, as classical music, as well as rock music and jazz, of course. The documentary department that I'm working in Arte France, based in Paris, takes care about around 70 to 80 hours per year of fresh production. We buy about as much, buy or pre-buy, about 75 hours a year. But I must tell you that we get a huge number of proposals, more than 1,000 a year, and we can only take 70 to co-produce. So you see. I thought about this before coming here, and I think that nice winds, and nice weather, nice winds are blowing for wildlife, environment, which I'll put in the same plot, and also for discovery and history programs. And then another thing, think and be international. That's all for me for the moment. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Harry?
I'm very proud and honored to be interviewed here. I've tried to enjoy this as much as I hope you can. I think I'm gonna repeat a few words all over again during this week, and I started right away, but then I come to my introduction of the company. I think the key words from my point of view is hard competition, the lack of money, the introduction of new media, a lot of subgenres and also a lot of special channels. These are the things that occupy my mind all the time. But back to my company, Wiley, and maybe I start from my country, Finland. Finland is certainly a very small nation, only 5 million people. So my perspective these days is not one of a big country. So we are not Germany, we are not Britain, we are not France, not even Spain, not even Italy. Maybe in the field of documentaries, we are bigger than we are normally, and that's why we were, I think, asked to the 20th century of sunny side, thanks to the Eve, to explain what kind of, what is the reason for the enthusiasm for documentaries in Finland. And I tried to summarize that same lecture very, very shortly. In Finland, since we are a really small nation, we have thought that the key of the success of the nation is that our people should be really educated, and we had put a lot of emphasis on that. And we are not a class society, and we certainly don't want to be a one. And the class society, I mean that in a classic sense, I think that there's an upper class which is educated and take all the good jobs, and then there's another class which is not that important. We can't afford that. That's why we have been very interested in education, and of course the good journalism has been a very important part of this. And I see the documentaries, I myself a journalist as a background, I see that a natural extension, and that's why this kind of intellectual aspect of documentaries has been highly valued in Finland. I would say that maybe in a certain sense overvalued, because if the Finnish audience is asked, what is your favorite genre, what are you looking for in television, they always say, good documentaries. In fact, what they watch is different. It's of course entertainment and things like that. That's pretty normal. There's nothing wrong with that, but intellectual thing is highly valued. And we still, that is maybe the reason that, especially during the 90s, in Finland also, a lot of state money was put in the development of documentaries. And you can ask Eva and the others if we have been successful or not, but as I thought, I've been told that we have been quite good in that sense. That's why we have 5 channels only, Wiley. In Finland, one is a Swedish-speaking channel, and then we have a cultural channel, and then we have TV1 and TV2, which are the main Finnish-speaking channels. I read TV1, and then we have a channel which is, in fact, the Swedish television, which is shown in Finland, and also vice versa, the Finnish television is shown in Sweden because of the close ties that both countries have. And TV1, TV2 are the big channels, and we have a lot of documentary slots. I mean, many. Most of them are only acquisition because of the reason of the money. But we do pre-buys, and we do co-productions. I can't tell how many, but it must be something like roughly maybe 30 to 40 per year. So in that sense, we are maybe bigger than we used to be in the other sense of the country. And now a few remarks about how I see the situation. The money is a big concern because the competition is now very hard. For my company, our budget will be reduced in 2011 by 10%, which is much, and it will have its consequences. We don't know yet